Hello, Contrarian Dude here. And yesterday we talked about the importance of pushing back against social justice warriors, how they're just absolutely out of control and they're trying to usher us into a new dark ages. So recently, some people from the Black Lives Matter movement started jumping up on stage at a Bernie Sanders event and demanding they gave the microphone and he had to move off to the side. Another person did this at a Trump rally and started screaming and shouting and disrupting the thing. And we're going to have a look at how the two different people handled that. We'll take a look at those clips in just a minute. But first of all, let's just take a little bit of a look at the principles involved and see who's wrong, who's right, and what are people's rights and when do people overstep those rights. So first of all, I am an absolute defender of free speech. I would say much more so than most people. I think it's a perfect right and it should not be infringed by any government anywhere at any time. But does that give you the right to say what you want to say anywhere you want to say it? And I think the answer is obviously no, because there are also property rights involved. For example, if you dislike something I'm doing, let's say you dislike my YouTube channel, you certainly don't have the right to come in and break into my house and start yelling at me in my lounge room. I agree that you have the right to say it, just not in that location. And this is pretty obvious. I think everybody agrees with it. The only time people don't agree with it is when they're so blinded with passion about a particular cause, they think that gives them the right to do immoral things like be somewhere where they're not allowed to be, breaking and entering, or if somebody else owns a house or is renting a room, then that's theirs. They decide who can come and go. It's like if I rent a ballroom at a hotel and host a dinner, and you're not invited, and you're not invited. And also, if you are invited, you come and act like a douche, and I retract that invitation, I ask you to leave, it's time for you to leave. All these things are very, very obvious, and everyone agrees with them, except when we're blinded with passion about a particular issue. So knowing that everybody is susceptible to being blinded by passion on occasion, the best way to check yourself against those issues is to just swap the players involved and see how you would react. So if you're somebody who's saying, yes, the Black Lives Matter person absolutely has a right to scream and kick and shout, they've got an important thing to say, it's like, well, okay, so in that case, unless you want to create special classes of people and create all this division and create race wars and everything else, if you have to apply that universally to everybody. So if Black Lives Matter, they go to a hotel, they hire a room, there's thousands of Black Lives Matter supporters there, all waiting to listen to some person who they've come to see to speak on the topic, and some Republican person comes in, starts screaming and shouting and disrupting the event so nobody can hear the speaker they've come to see, and they don't allow the place to go on. Then they get asked to leave, and they say, no, I'm not leaving. So somebody grabs them, goes to escort them out. They start pushing and shoving and fighting, and a fight breaks out. And of course, that Republican gets the shit beat out of them because there's just one of them and many hundreds of Black Lives Matter people around them. Is that fair and is that just? I think everybody would say, absolutely, it is fair and just. In that instance, when the Republican is being disruptive and an idiot, has been asked to leave, they don't have a right to be there, and they still remain, they cause trouble, then they have the right to be physically escorted off the premises. So with that understanding of all of the issues, let's go and look at how Sanders and Sanders supporters and Trump supporters handled a very similar situation.
Thank you, Seattle, for being one of the most progressive cities in the United States of America.
We want an opportunity to address. We want an opportunity on the mic.
Okay. Well, ask him.
Get him in check or we're shutting this event down now.
If you do not listen to her, your event will be shut down right now. Right now. Your decision. Make a decision now.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won.
We are going to let you on the mic. Okay. All right, so we are trying to be reasonable. We are trying to be reasonable. We are trying to be reasonable.
We are reasonable.
We are trying. We're going to let you on the mic. We are going to give you the mic. We will, after Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders.
Do not tell me what to do.
After Senator Sanders.
Sit down.
After Senator Sanders.
down.
Okay. All right.
Let her speak.
All right.
Let her speak.
All right.
speak.
We're shutting it down. You are shutting it down. You are disrupting this event. You are disrupting this event. We will.
That's on his campaign.
Let her
No,
speak.
you
or we
are
shut
shutting
it
it down. We are shutting.
Let her speak or we shut it down.
We will shut it down. You are shutting it down. You are. No. How long are you going to go? How long are you going to go?
Hold it, I'm happy to hold it. Excuse me. No. That's your attitude that I have nothing to say.
We will give you. How long do you want?
Let her speak.
No.
Stop asking questions and let her speak now.
No, we will give you a couple of minutes. We're going to let him.
I need you to move. I'm not going to speak.
Okay, go ahead.
That's fine.
Look at how pathetic and weak Bernie Sanders looks here, like a chastised schoolboy. To who? This entitled sociopath who thinks she has the right to just march in and disrupt this thing and commandeer an event which other people have organised, other people have paid for, and other people want to see. Bernie, if you can't defend yourself against a handful of Black Lives Matter protesters, what the hell kind of good are you going to be against ISIS or Putin or terrorism? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, Jesus, grow a pair, you pathetic human being. Now, I'm not a fan of Trump by a long stretch. He's got many failings. But look at how differently the approach here is.
We're winning all over the country. We're winning in Ohio against Kasich, who's totally overrated, by the way. We're winning all over. Do I hear somebody over there? You know, you have one guy over there shouting. We have thousands of people, and you'll read about him tomorrow. They'll say, oh, the room had a picket. All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please? Get him out of here. Throw him out. No, we had it the other day. I got criticized. We had it the other night. I had a lot of people, and one guy who was seriously obese. He complained when I mentioned that food stamps, we have a lot of people on food stamps. And the guy went crazy. And they said that wasn't politically correct. Who cares? We all have a weight problem. Yeah, you can get him out. Yeah, get him out. Get him the hell out of here. Get him out of here. Get out. Get him out of here. Did you see Bernie Sanders? See, he was politically correct. Two young women came up to the podium. They took over his microphone. I promise you that's not going to happen with me. I promise. Never going to happen. Not going to happen. Can't let that stuff happen.
The Black Lives Matter protesters don't even get to the podium. They start being disruptive in the audience. I don't even know if it was actually Trump's security team or just the members of the audience, but they say, you're going to have to go. The man refuses, continues to disrupt the place. They grab him and say, okay, we're going to have to escort you out by force because you're not going willingly. There's a fight ensues and he starts getting beaten on. That is absolutely the correct and just way to handle this situation. You don't just capitulate to the sociopath who thinks he's got the right to do this. You don't. You have to stand up for yourself. And to his credit, the next day, Donald Trump backed up his supporters and said, yes, they absolutely did the right thing. I'm happy to defend them. So where does this pathetic and weak attitude come from? Why would someone have such self-loathing that they allow someone to abuse them like this, hang their head in shame like they've done something wrong? And this all comes down to something we've been touching on the last few days here, is this deliberate attempt to create as much division as possible. And the way they've achieved that largely is obviously through the media, but also they've taken control of the education system, and they're deliberately dumbing us down and filling our heads with this collectivist nonsense that if you're white, you should be guilty because, I don't know what the hell, because if you're male, you're supposed to feel guilty. If you have money, you're supposed to feel guilty. And for all of Trump's failings, thank God there is at least someone with enough self-respect to stand up and say, I'm not going to self-deprecate myself. I'm not going to let people abuse me because you're telling me I'm supposed to feel guilty when I've never committed any crime. This is something that everybody, the left side and the right side of the aisle, everybody can get behind this. If you've never been racist, if you've never been misogynist, if you've acquired your money via just means, people voluntarily gave it to you because you provided great goods and services, you should not feel guilty. Don't be this weak piece of shit who's been shamed into being abused. Grow up. Man up. Have some self-esteem. Thank you for watching this video, and if it makes sense to you, if you know somebody especially who's putting themselves down, beating themselves up for a crime they didn't commit. And we have whole countries doing this right now, so I'm sure you do. Please share this video with them and share it on Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. Please get this video out there, because you don't serve anybody by just beating yourself up. You actually serve the abuser. In exactly the same way, the first step when dealing with a battered wife is to say, you didn't do anything wrong, girlfriend. It's not your fault. He's the asshole. In exactly the same way, we need to step up and stop feeling guilty for stuff that we didn't do. So please subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.